It's actually why I wrote the live stream about you can gaslight your friends as long as it's 1 to 4%. If you gaslight your friends 5% or more, they're going to call you a gaslighter. But if you do it only from 1 to 4%, they're going to think that you're really inspiring and that you're encouraging them the whole way. So it's kind of like this. This is all part of the art, you know. It really is. Great share.
Well,
Thank you.
you have to pledge fealty to all the different you have to go through the social media filter and play by all of those rules. And I hate doing that too. I don't even want to fool with it. It's
Yeah.
necessary for business, but I hate it. I hate
Hmm.
engaging with it. It all feels fraudulent and you don't even know what's real. Or, somebody can have 10 million views and are those
Yeah.
views even real?
Yeah. Are they doping, right? Is this part of the same technique? You just don't know. And to even make it more complicated, I think a I think a lot of times, Ashley, you will develop a style that purposely you secretly know society won't want, and you will find an affinity for, and you won't know that you're finding the affinity for that because you're trying desperately to hold on to your identity, and you know that you need things that the public will not like to find that. I
Well,
think
I
this
will
is
say I
why
paint
we,
all of my own art. Like I plan to keep it. I don't plan on anybody else having it. Like it feels very personal of the stuff that I actually paint, and it's very different than like what I do for work style wise.
yeah.
Because what I do for work is more what people want to pay for.
Hmm.
That's okay, but
Yep.
I sympathize. But
Yeah. Yeah. It's a juggle and it's a way of breathing. It's kind of an engine. It's a motor that keeps us running. And I think I'm lucky that I have a lower cost of living. I've purposely tried to switch into that, but
mhm.
it's pretty easy because the payoff is just so much better over the lack of parasympathetic comfort. Again, if you're in stress, I know it sounds backwards. If you're in stress, you're in sympathetic mode, but when you relax, you step out of it. Sounds so backwards, I know, but that's just scientifically what they call it. Then you enter into parasympathetic, you enter into your ventral, and I think this is really where all creativity's coming from. Anyone else have any comments on Ashley's stuff? Great to see you, Ashley. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. So
Daraj, go ahead.
Yeah, um, I love everything you guys are talking about with, you know, the concerns with like trying to do artistic alchemy versus making art as a income or at least just the privilege that it would be perceived to be able to focus on things at that, you know, just for the sake of the magic of it in which you don't, you know, it's sort of the I want to argue, not argue, but I want to say just like creative sexiness therein. So if you're making something for a force and you are sort of devoting it to that specifically without getting any other value involved, or it sort of goes into the sacrifices thing because you are ultimately splitting yourself from that art to give to someone else to enjoy. You're trying to factorize that emotional expression in which you are imbuing, if that's what you're doing, or maybe you're trying to cause chaos, or the Da Vinci definitely tried to do both of like archetype architecture magic, and then also like deluge magic, and I think he studied all of it because he understood this concept of salt and pepper, right? The devil or the demon and the angel on your shoulder, which uh, what's the famous quote? It's like both angels and demons don't require UFOs to get around, you know, and so that's sort of the observer, with the snake, which then we would perceive as Ophiuchus, observing the zodiacal wheel, and he's sort of at the head of the snake, right, with the hand, and the snake is also kind of his dick, and the creative energy, etc. Uh, yeah, so where you're sort of finding your body, your artistic body, you're bridging those neurons, the plasmic trails that connect and ideate and constellate.
Yeah. I haven't said this in a while, But Ophiuchus came to my mental constellation, which is very ignorant, over Corona. I never even considered that that was a constellation, more or less a zodiacal house. And during Corona, it was brought to my attention that this could be the 13th house. And you start to look at how large this constellation is in the sky. It's fucking huge, Ophiuchus is. And it kind of really embodies where we're at, that we're in a place that thinks that 12 is perfect, but yet we have 13. That we're in this concept where we have the perfect harmony of all the colors, of all the tones, of all the music notes, and it fits in one of 12, and yet we're living in a world that has 13. There are 365 fucking days in a year, not 360. There are 5 extra degrees. We are being stretched in to thinking outside of our spectrum. Does this make sense? That every aspect of our life is saying, here's 12, but really it's 13. Even your 12 cranial nerves, believe it or not, the fifth cranial nerve splits into 3 separate sections. This is your Judas nerve, the Judas's kiss. The idea of kissing Judas is touching this separate nerve which branched into a trinity and formed a forked fucking tongue. And this nerve controls your talking, your speech. So everything that we know about the hallucination that we call the Osiris world, or just reality, sorry, but everything we know about reality is teaching you this very important lesson that what you think is 7 is 12, and what you think is 12 is 13, and what you think is 13 is 16. And what you thought was 16 is 12, what you thought was 12 is 7, what you thought was 7 is 3, and what you thought was 3 was 1. That it's a harmonic, it's teaching you to go up and down the scale into what I have now deemed the fourth dimension. I literally think that zooming, Z, the next dimension is perspective, and that we're living in a matrix where we're being forced to imagine that someone has a different perspective than we are. And this is what sapience is. The awareness of the awareness is the birth of this new dimension, and we just don't understand it yet because we're swimming in it. It's the water to the fish. So the time in my mind would have to be in the first dimension, the second dimension, the third. You would have no line without time because you wouldn't know that it started at this point and went to this point. So time is not the fourth dimension in my mind. The fourth dimension is perspective. The fourth dimension allows you through melanin, literally through fucking melanin, to change your cosmology and re-identify, turn it into a different rotation, move it to a different place, and look at something from somewhere else. And all that's really changed is the dark matter matrix that you've used to look into the exact same fucking thing. It's Swiss cheese holes, man. We're just looking through Swiss cheese from different angles at the same thing, but it looks different from all these places. And this is teaching us how to move in this fourth dimension through perspective, through cosmology, through religion, through belief. This is how we get there. True, go ahead.
Okay, different location, no
Oh,
Bluetooth.
great.
I'm gonna try this one more time. Okay, so I have been studying Ho'oponopono, the uh, the Hawaiian forgiveness ceremony, for years and years, and the dynamic of it is I was very fascinated with what you were saying about memory. Where is the memory in Ho'oponopono? The subconscious remembers everything. It's like your inner child that sees it everything and registers everything. The conscious mind and the superconscious mind.